And we are live. Hi, everyone. Welcome back again to another exciting edition of one of the worst sports podcasts out there. This is Raven Slayer's Hour. Unfortunately, I'm alone today, but grind never stops. And the fun never stops. So, hi, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting edition. So as the title confirms, we are going over the roundup of the first round of the or the NBA playoffs of the first round of the playoffs. We're as well rounding up the first month of the MLB season, going over some favorites as far as all-star favorites right now for each team. Going over different guys and talking about prospects who could make their MLB debut this season. Of course, later on in the season, but still, they could make their debut this year. So, later on this year. So, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into the NBA playoffs round one roundup. So, starting off. Everybody knows. Everyone's been talking about it. Timberwolves wound up winning against the Lakers in 5 games. I was happy to see this. Me as a Suns fan, I do not like the Lakers. I enjoy watching the Timberwolves a lot more than I enjoy watching the Suns, especially with how good of a team that they are in general. So it was definitely great to see the Timberwolves come out and win a big game for them. That does beg to question a few things, especially with the future for the Lakers, specifically with their number one guy in LeBron James. There's been a lot of hints that he's possibly going to be retiring this year. He did get the 1 year with his son like he was wanting to, so congrats to him. But the real question is he going to stay for another year? I highly doubt it. LeBron James is coming into I want to say his 5th or 6th year, if I'm not mistaken. Or, sorry, not his 5th or 6th year. My apologies. I believe he's been in the league for over 20 plus years. He's about to be 41 years old. He's seen the best. He's honestly seen the best of what he has had. So I highly doubt that LeBron is going to be able to come back for another season. In that case, with the Lakers, they have a lot of decisions to make, especially revolving around LeBron's son. The real question with them, are they going to just keep him in the G League and just have him develop into a player like his father? Or are they just going to trade him away for draft capital, which you'll get probably a 3rd round pick for him because he's just not that good. So we'll just have to see what happens with the Lakers more than anything. If LeBron stays and decides to play another year, he's going to push more onto the GM role, push more for big trades to happen. So more guys for the bench. So like signing guys for the bench, trading for guys for the bench, and just trading as well for more guys to help him in general, so he's not the number one guy who has to play at the highest capacity comparatively. Give me one brief moment here. So that's kind of what's going on with the Lakers right now. I honestly see LeBron retiring this year. He's, again, like I mentioned, he's about to be 41. Seen the best of his basketball last year. He really should have retired after last year, because I mean he doesn't have much more basketball left over. And with that trade for Luka Doncic, it definitely was a great move for them to get a guy for the future, because again, LeBron's not going to be there for the long run. I see him being there for one more year, and I see Luka Doncic now becoming the franchise player that the Lakers will build around. So that finishes off with the Lakers. Timberwolves, seeing him in the next round is going to be huge. As a basketball fan who grew up as well watching the Timberwolves, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch them in the next round. Which brings us to the Pacers. Pacers wound up beating out Milwaukee. Milwaukee, unfortunately, just couldn't get it done. They lost in 5 games. There's been a lot of rumors going around, especially revolving their number one guy in Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis, he's trapped on that team at this point. I honestly see Giannis either requesting a trade or Milwaukee trading him elsewhere. One team, well, there's a few teams that I do favor him going to. Of course, not being a biased Suns fan, but there's been a lot of rumors revolving Giannis coming to Phoenix. There's as well been rumors of him going to LA with the Lakers if LeBron stays, or even if he doesn't stay. I mean, you have Giannis who can be plugged in as your new franchise guy, taking over for LeBron after he retires, and being able to help develop the younger stars on that team. But there's just been a lot of rumors, a lot of teams that have been a lot of teams that could contemplate trading for him. So there's a lot of questions going on right now as far as Giannis's future in Milwaukee. Something else that came out of that game, the issues with Tyrese Halliburton's father. From what news we kind of saw there, Halliburton's father, from what I understood from the article, he was banned from attending games. It very well could be just him deciding to take a back seat, stop coming to games, or what have you. But again, it puts a blemish on the Pacers. It puts a huge blemish on them. Sure, they won in 5 games, but you had some questionable things go on with family members of your star player. Things I could see Milwaukee do this offseason: trade Giannis, without a doubt in my mind. I could see other star players from their team getting traded away. Drew Holiday, definitely is a huge name that's being thrown around right now as far as a guy who could get traded away. Just a lot of huge names that could get traded this offseason, especially with their star player in Giannis Antetokounmpo. So a lot of questions that'll be coming out of Milwaukee. A lot of questionable trades, questionable moves, possibly sometime in the future. So we'll just have to see what happens. Brings us to the Celtics. Celtics want to beating out the Magic in 5 games. The Magic are a young team, so I really wasn't shocked to see them lose. Of course, with prior predictions with my dad and myself, my dad had predicted they would get swept. So, it was kind of predicted to see the Magic only win 1 against the Celtics. So, a lot of things they could do in this offseason that could make them contenders. Revolving around drafting the right guy in the draft. Revolving as well around more of a looking at other trades that could happen too and signings in the offseason. Let me double check. I should have probably looked this up prior. So upcoming free agents here in the upcoming offseason. You have a player option for LeBron. Van Vliet with a club option right now. See here. Just look at the unrestricted free agents. So right now, as far as unrestricted free agents, you got Brooke Lopez, who's going to be an unrestricted free agent coming in. Clint Capella, Bruce Brown Jr., Malcolm Brogdon, um, Miles Turner, Tim Hardaway Jr., D'Angelo Russell, Karis LeVert, Luke Kennard, Dennis Schroeder. Just some bigger names too. I mean, Steven Adams. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent this upcoming year unless Houston re-signs him. Marvin Bagley III. He's becoming that unrestricted free agent out of Memphis. Bouchard from Toronto. So a lot of big names that very well could be moved on from this year, and I wouldn't be shocked, especially with Brooke Lopez. I mean, he's on the wrong side of 30. With Lopez, he's on the wrong side of 30. Really didn't help out Milwaukee as well as he should have. Just statistically speaking, this year he averaged about 13 points a game, 5 rebounds a game, and with his numbers, they increased slightly since 2023, but averaging double-digit points, but not being able to produce very well in the defensive scheme with getting the amount of rebounds he should be getting. It very well could be something something that they could look at as far as Brooke Lopez getting letting him walk this season. I wouldn't be shocked by it. One thing very possibly that could happen, as far as who should be picked up, with the Magic, one of the main things I saw with them. Just give me one moment. So one of the things that I saw with the Magic after they wound up going out, winning that one game against Boston. See here. So the first game overall, Paolo Banchero, he wound up surprising me, putting up 36. Paolo Banchero is one of the leading scorers on that team. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope just really didn't perform how he should have throughout the playoffs this year. The one game that the Magic wound up winning, you saw huge explosions from Paolo Banchero, like mentioned. Franz Wagner. They actually played really, really great defense there with Wendell Carter just sneaking in a double-double performance that game with 10 points, 12 rebounds. They played very well defensively in that game against the Celtics. But they just need more scoring firepower more than anything. Just being bounced as quick as they did. Luckily they won a game. I'll give them their flowers in winning one game, but there's a lot of moves that they could make in this offseason, especially with looking at Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Caldwell-Pope didn't even reach 10 points a game. With Caldwell-Pope, he's a younger guy, born 93. Let's see. Gosh, how old is he? This is his lone season that he's had with Orlando. Only averaged about 8, less than 9 points a game. You really don't want your You don't want your guy coming off the bench only scoring about 9 points a game. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe he may still be under contract. Yeah, Contavious Caldwell Pope is still under contract, so maybe looking into shooting guard this offseason. Tim Hardaway Jr. If he doesn't re-sign with Detroit, which he's an unrestricted free agent coming into the next year. Holy heck, me and him share a birthday. Didn't even know that. But Hardaway's coming into his his next year. It'll be his 33-year-old season, or 34-year-old 12th season in the league. So his performance dipped slightly from when he was playing in Dallas, but he's still averaging double-digit points per game. So definitely looking into a shooting guard to come off the bench would be huge for them to look into. Even looking at a young guy. Bruce Brown Jr. If he doesn't re-sign with the Pelicans, and he becomes the unrestricted free agent. He is an unrestricted free agent going into the 25 to 26 season. He's on the south side of 30s, so still a very young player. Statistically speaking, he did have a huge dip from when he was playing in Toronto, but again, excuse me a minute. Oh, bless me. Sorry. So he had a dip from Toronto because really with New Orleans, they were not a good team. So Bruce Brown Jr. If you put him in the right you put him in the right offensive scheme, he could be an insanely good player. And Malcolm Brogdon Jr. Malcolm Brogdon from Washington very well could be a great pickup. I know he's going into his 33-year-old season. He's turning 33 December 11th of this year. He had a slight dip, lost about 3 points a game, but still performing fairly well as far as his defensive skills. So it could be something to look into if you're looking for a guy who's coming off the bench, or even very still could be looked at as a starter in that lineup with the Magic there. But yeah, it's kind of where that ultimately boils down to. Now, moving on from the Celtics, one that we saw was going to happen. The Cavs wound up sweeping the Heat. The Heat honestly did not stand a chance with how well the Cavs will wound up performing this regular season and how well they performed against the Heat. It wasn't shocking to see. One thing that is definitely bringing some concern to the Heat and Heat fans is Kevin Love. Kevin Love, he's getting up there in age as well. He's no spring chicken no more. Kevin Love, if I am not mistaken, is coming into his he's turning 37 this year, actually in a couple of months. June, July, August. In 4 months, he turns 37. So, of course, want to say happy early birthday to you, Kevin Love. But just statistically speaking, with his time with the Heat, he didn't perform all that well with them. He started out decent, in 23, about 8 points a game. 24 saw a bit of a dip in his productivity, about 5.3 points a game. Let's look together to see if he's a free agent this offseason. He actually might still be under contract from what I can see. Yeah, he's still under contract. But yeah, I mean, just the playing future of Kevin Love. I mean, it's high up there. It's very concerning as far as his ability to perform in the actual playoffs and the regular season. So hopefully, he makes the right decision and decides to retire. Unfortunately, in my view, he needs to retire. He just isn't performing the way he needs to anymore. But yeah, I mean, that's my personal opinion as far as the Heat, what they can do this offseason. One thing that definitely can help them there is looking. See here. Sorry, give me a sec here. So, I mean, with the Heat, with what they're looking at here, let's see. I mean, the main thing I found hilarious with the Heat, I mean, they go and beat the snot out of the Bulls to be able to get into the actual playoffs, or get further into the playoffs to take on the Hawks. Go and take down Atlanta within overtime. Took it to overtime and everything. They performed very well in their first two games. They gave the Cavs a run for their money in the first two games, but then in the last two games, they just fell off the face of the earth. With the Heat, I mean, me personally, Bam Adebayo, he is being wasted on that team. Him and Tyler Hero. I wouldn't be shocked if either of them requested a trade, or if the team decided to go ahead and trade him. Andrew Wiggins, when he came in to play with the Heat, he within the playoffs in general, he did not perform as advertised. Shooting his first game against the Cavs, shooting 5 for 11, 2 for 6 beyond the arc, 14.6 rebounds, 2 assists. I mean, it wasn't a great game for him that first game. Second game against the Cavs, he again saw a huge dip in his performance. 3 for 10, 1 for 4 on 3-pointers, 10 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 3 for 4 on his free throws. That following game with the Heat, again, a bad performance by Wiggins, only recording a 10-point game, 3 for 10, 2 for, as far as field goals are concerned, 2 for 4 on 3-pointers, 1 rebound, 3 assists. So honestly, with me, Andrew Wiggins, I mean, he's definitely not the right fit for the Heat. So with Wiggins, let me double check. I believe, if I'm not correct, knowing me, I never am correct. Knowing me, of course, I am never correct, but I have to confirm. Okay, so he's not a unrestricted free agent this next year. So, you could very well see Wiggins. Actually, I don't think Wiggins really will get moved from this team. They'll utilize him to utilize him to try and build around to get things better. But yeah, Andrew Wiggins did not perform as he should have for the playoffs in general for the Heat, so it definitely hurt them the most. But either way, it was not shocking to see the Cavs go out and sweep the Heat. It wasn't shocking. So moving forward from the Heat, we move on to the Knicks. Knicks won it beating the Detroit. Won it beating Detroit in 6 games. Detroit definitely gave them a run for their money. More than anything, I do want to give huge props to Detroit. They, of course, made the playoffs after their, after setting the, worst league record last year. So it was a huge turnaround for them. So of course, always want to give them their flowers, always give them their roses. They outperformed what I thought that they would perform this year. Now, regarding off-season moves for them, there are, let me see. There are some guys here that are, let me see. Yeah, they have a few guys that are going to be unrestricted free agents this year with Paul Reed and Lindy Waters III and Troy Brown as well. I mean, Troy Brown Jr., I should say. My apologies. Troy Brown Jr., I mean, honestly, let him walk. Not really helping your team. Lindy Waters III. Again, a guy who really isn't helping productivity, so I would let him walk. Let's see. Paul Reed. Again, similar thing. Just rotational pieces that they should let walk in the offseason. As far as any other bigger name, I mean, Malik Beasley. Their shooting guards becoming a free agent this offseason. Averaged 16.3 points a game for him. I would definitely go and work on re-signing this guy. I mean, Malik Beasley performing as well as he did for Detroit this season. Whether they have him starting or whether they have him on, coming off the bench as a sixth man, either way, Malik Beasley is definitely a great guy to keep in that to keep there in Detroit. So I definitely would go and look at re-signing him. Dennis Schroeder. I mean, as a lot of people know, he's not young. He's getting up there in age. Didn't perform great, but I mean, still produced double-digit points on average. So maybe keeping him for like a piece on your bench is definitely something to look into as well. But yeah, I mean, no more. I wouldn't do anything more than just having him as a rotation piece. Same thing with Tim Hardaway Jr. He's a great player. He's been averaging double-digit points ever since 2016 on average. He had a bit of a dip in his productivity ever since his time with Dallas. So, I mean, honestly, too, again, Tim Hardaway Jr., like I mentioned, he's going to be 34 this next year. Unfortunately, us humans, we don't age like fine wine. So, honestly, if I'm Detroit, I'm letting him walk. That's my main thing. But yeah, that's kind of what I see with Detroit. Definitely going out and getting another guy, getting younger talent, and even going after guys who can kind of push him over the top. D'Angelo Russell, if Brooklyn doesn't re-sign him, I'd push to go and grab D'Angelo to be one of your starting players, and yeah, I mean, really just keep him as one of your starter play. Have him in your starting rotation without a doubt in my mind. With Minnesota as well, understanding that Alexander Walker is an unrestricted free agent. Going back to Minnesota, I would definitely re-sign that guy. Because, I mean, more than anything, I mean, he's been performing phenomenal for Minnesota. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, he saw a bit of an increase as far as his points per game. He's getting a lot more minutes. Getting a lot more minutes per game with Minnesota this year. So they're getting him more involved in the actual team. So seeing him getting more involved is definitely a great thing to see for Nikhil. And I definitely hope he's going to be there for the long run with Minnesota. Hopefully they give him like a 2-year contract or something like that. I really hope he stays. Let's see. But yeah, that ends off with Detroit. A couple things to look at here. I mean, with the Rockets won at force in Game 7. They will be playing tomorrow night. They'll be playing tomorrow night against the Warriors. And then as well tonight, the Nuggets take on the Clippers, and in their Game 7. As far as predictions between the two games, for the game tonight, Clippers versus Nuggets. Last few games, I mean the Nuggets just for some reason reason they keep relying on Westbrook. Honestly, just I mean with Westbrook, there were points in the game in that game where at the very end of the game where if he had just hit a shot, it would have ultimately won the game. If I'm the Nuggets, I'm relying less on Westbrook and relying more on your star players like Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, heck, even Aaron Gordon too. Focus on those guys, getting them involved. Because right now, I mean, with the way the Clippers are performing, Kawhi Leonard, Norman Powell, James Harden coming out of nowhere. Just having guys in your rotation that can go and keep that pressure up. It's not if you have guys in your rotation that can keep that pressure up. I mean, it's going to be difficult overall as far as trying to win out games. So, as far as tonight, I still believe that the Nuggets will wind up winning out and beating the Clippers. It would be interesting to see the Clippers wind up beating the Nuggets, but I honestly see the Nuggets wind up coming out on top and beating the Clippers tonight. As far as the game tomorrow, Rockets Warriors, the Rockets definitely more than anything with the Rockets, from what their numbers and everything. With the Rockets, they of course have that chip on their shoulders. The Warriors are that one team that they every year they can never get past. So the Rockets are definitely going to come into that game strong. So I see the Rockets wind up beating the Warriors in the game tomorrow and finally getting past the, breaking off that chip off of their shoulder. So that comes to the end of the basketball segment. So that brings us into the baseball segment I had set up here. So just kind of going over the first month, came to the first month of the baseball season. Over in the AL East, the Yankees are currently holding on to that number one spot. The Red Sox are right behind the Yankees, nipping at their ankles. So the Yankees have to keep winning games, or else some Red Sox are going to come for that number one spot. The Orioles out of nowhere have fallen off of a cliff this year. At the very beginning part of the season, they're currently dead last in the AL East. I hope that they can turn around their performance over the past few games and hopefully be able to go and start winning more and more games. But we'll just have to see ultimately what happens as far as the AL East race. As far as the AL Central, Tigers are currently holding that number 1 spot. Guardians are right behind them. And last I saw and last I looked at those numbers, they were only 1.5 games back. So it's definitely going to be fun to see what the Guardians ultimately do here. As coming down the latter part of the season, or well, the second month of the season, I should say. Of course, as we all know, the same old White Sox. Everybody said it at the beginning of the year. They're getting tanks are going to keep on rolling. I wound up, of course, watching the and of course, shout out to you, Urinating Tree. I watch his content all the time on YouTube, and I 100% agree with what he had said at the beginning of the year when it came to talking baseball and talking about ultimately what the season was going to look like for each team. The White Sox they're going to keep them tanks rolling. They're just going to keep just building as much draft capital as they can to be able to keep getting you just keep getting as much draftable players as they can, and hope and pray something develops. Which brings us to the AL West. AL West right now, Mariners are currently holding that number 1 spot. Astros and the Athletics are currently nipping at the Mariners' ankles right now. If I'm not mistaken, I, of course, very well could be mistaken. Because as everybody knows, this is the absolute worst podcast to even look at, listen to, and yeah. As far as the standings right now, yes, the Athletics and Astros are nipping at the Mariners' heels right now. Athletics are only 2 games back. Astros fell to 3 games back. So it's anyone's division still with the AL West, especially as well with the AL Central. But definitely more with the AL West. It's anyone's division. And yeah, I mean, the Angels, they're still reeling despite, having Trout back at full capacity. Trout's not performing what he needs to perform, so it's unfortunate to see a guy come back from injury and just not performing very well. So, hopefully he can have a resurgence of his numbers, but I don't believe he will. Which brings us to the NL. So over at the NL East, we got the Mets holding that number 1 spot right now, 22-11. The Phillies are currently 3.5 games back to the Mets. Now the Braves, I mean, they're still the Braves are currently just fighting to try and get themselves scraped back to a 500 record. They dropped a couple games; they're back to 452 on the season. They're having early failures into the season, so I don't think the Braves are going to be able to do something huge. I hope things can turn around for the Braves, but I doubt it. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate, especially knowing with how well the Braves performed over the last couple of years. But it's just sad to see when a great team just disintegrates right in front of your eyes. And of course, same old Marlins, 12-19 on the season, 9 games back. But yeah, not a whole lot to really talk about with the East. The Mets are just dominant as they can be. Brings us over to the NL Central. NL Central right now, Cubs are holding that number 1 spot, and the Reds coming out of nowhere to being 2 games back to the Cubs right now. Oh, okay, I passed. My apologies. But yeah, Reds right behind the Cubs, 2 games back. We'll have to see what happens. I honestly see the Reds by the Reds by the All-Star break, the Reds will definitely be, closer towards the Cubs, maybe one game back, possibly a half a game back, but yeah. And of course, I know I mentioned urinating tree earlier. And of course, if my good friend Jeff is watching this video on YouTube, of course, I want to tell you both I'm sorry, but Pirates are still ass. The Pirates are ass. Currently holding a 12-21 record. Their star performer of Paul Skeens is not performing well. Specifically, the reason why I say he's not performing well, the game the other night, it definitely wasn't his best game. Gave up 3 home runs, so it was sad to see. It's sad to see a young player, especially like Skeens, fall to, the unfortunate facts of the game of baseball. It happens. It is what it is. Hopefully he can turn his numbers back around and help the Pirates get at least to second or third. So that brings us to the most dominant division in baseball right now, in the NL West. Right now, the Dodgers are holding that number 1 spot at 22-10. Padres, Giants, and the Diamondbacks are only a few games back. Currently, Padres are 1.5 back. Giants are 2.5. Diamondbacks, surprisingly, are 5 games back after a little bit of a skid from them. But yeah, it's still anyone's division there. I would love to see, by the All-Star break, Diamondbacks have a resurgence, get themselves up to a 600, sub 600 record, and be able to, get on top of at least the Giants by the All-Star break. But a lot of things to happen, a lot of things to hope and pray. But we'll have to see what happens coming closer towards the All-Star break. And of course, Rockies are just there, sitting there, arms praying, asking the baseball gods to give him a couple of wins. Currently holding MLB's worst record, surprisingly making the White Sox look good. Rockies currently at 6-26 with a 1.188 win percentage right now, which is horrible to see. So yeah, that brings us to the end of that portion. Brings us into the All-Star favorites right now. So you're going to go by each team. I'm going to go over the guys that I saw that I thought would make a big push for the All-Star break and become those All-Star players for the respective teams. So starting over in the AL East with the Yankees, I mean, everybody knows it. Everybody knows he's almost fully guaranteed to get into the All-Star game. Aaron Judge, he's still batting as dominant as he is. I mean, he's almost certain to lock every single year now. So, yeah, I mean, there's no real argument with Aaron Judge. Another guy that can be looked into, Trent Grisham. His numbers are doing fantastic right now. Me as a Diamondbacks fan, I would love to see Paul Goldschmidt get one more before he decides to hang him up. Another guy that you could see making it, Max Fried. He's having a dominant starting pitching season so far, so it would be fun to see him make it. And another guy I looked at here as well was Fernando Cruz. He's actually performing fairly well right now as a relief pitcher for the Yankees. So one guy I thought that very well could make it, especially knowing that the Diamondbacks a couple years back had a relief pitcher as their all-star. Brings us to the White Sox. Bregman coming into the Red Sox. My apologies. Bregman's performing very, very well for the Red Sox. One of the more dominating pitchers on that roster, or dominating hitters on that roster. So Bregman could be a huge guy that could make a run to the All-Star break. Christian Campbell as well. He's performing surprisingly well. Rob Ref Snyder as well. He's as well performing insanely well. And then of course the guy that they picked up that everybody was questioning that they picked up, Aroldis Chapman. Aroldis Chapman. My apologies. I way butchered that name. Aroldis Chapman's actually performing very well in that starting rotation for the Red Sox. I could very well see him becoming their new franchise pitcher, kind of like how the Diamondbacks had it with Gallen for a little while there. Brings us over to the Blue Jays. Blue Jays right now, I mean, the big names, I mean, Bo Bichette, Vlad Guerrero Jr., they're almost fully guarantees as far as playoffs. Or All-Star break, my apologies. You got kind of looked into other guys too, George Springer, Tyler Henneman, and Jeff Hoffman. So those guys very well could make a run towards the All-Star break as well. Sorry, I thought I might as well sit up for this because my back was starting to hurt. Brings us over to the Rays. The Rays right now, Jonathan Aranda, he's performing very well. Cameron Meisner as well. His numbers are starting to look really well. Jake Mangum, Johnny DeLuca, and Manuel Rodriguez, and even Eric Orz as well. Just guys who are just per positioning, they are performing very well. So could happen. Again, we're just 1 month into the season, so it's harder to predict and say, yes, this guy's going to be in the All-Star break. No. It's just guys to look at as we get closer towards the All-Star break. Brings us down to the Orioles right now. As far as what I'm seeing, Cedric Mullins is definitely still favorited. Ryan O'Hearn, Felix Bautista is still one of the more dominating closers right now in baseball, and then of course Brian Baker. So guys like that, will definitely make a name to make a name in the race for the All-Star break. Moving over to the AL Central. With the Tigers, you got Zach McKinstry, Spencer Torkelson. Torkelson surprised me the most. He, of course, wasn't the best performer for them last year, but this year he tweaked his game. He was working all off season on his swing, on defense. Torkelson, I saw the most improvement on their team overall. So I could see Torkelson definitely making a run towards the All-Star spot for them. As well, looking at pitchers, Tariq Skubal still as dominant as he is. Casey Mize, he's actually doing really well for their team as well. And then Tommy Cannell, he is another guy that I was looking into. Again, a relief pitcher, being in the All-Star break, it makes you kind of question things, but at the same time, you look at his numbers, you're like, okay, maybe. With the Guardians, couple guys I was considering, Stephen Kwan, Kyle Mazzardo, Cade Smith, Manuel Clase, and Hunter Gaddis. A whole bunch of guys that are performing very well for the Guardians, and so long as they can keep up their numbers, could see it happen. Now with the Royals, almost fully guaranteed every single time you're talking about the Royals, you're looking at a guy like Bobby Witt Jr. getting in for the All-Star break. But as well, I looked at pitcher Mark Canha, and then Lucas Urseg. Those guys definitely could make a run. so long as they can keep up their dominating numbers, could happen. For the Twinnies, Ty France I looked into. Ty France is actually performing very well. Same with Byron Buxton. He coming off of his injury, coming back into his coming back to his more ultimately coming back in from his injury, having the numbers that he has. It's insane to see. Joe Ryan, as far as a pitcher option, definitely would be a great guy to look into as well. And Johan Duran. Both of them are performing very well. All four of these guys I mentioned are performing very well for the Twins, and very well may be able to make a run towards the spot in the AL or in the All-Star break. And then I looked at the White Sox. I did not have fun looking at the White Sox. Not one bit. If more than anybody, the only guy I really put on the list was Lennon Sosa. He's the only one who's actually having very dominant numbers, and it kind of made me question things. Just, if the White Sox are this bad, why in the world even think about having an all-star player from their team? But every team has to have a guaranteed all-star. So he's the only one I could really see making a run towards a all-star break, making a run towards the all-star player for the White Sox. So moving on to the AL West with Mariners, I had Jorge Polanco, Brian Wu, and Andres Munoz to look at through the season. I still remember Jorge Polanco during his playing time with the Twins. He was a very dominant player. But yeah, I'm not shocked to see him performing very well out there in Seattle. Moving to the A's, I actually have a couple of guys I was looking into with the A's. I looked at let's see. I looked at Jacob Wilson, Tyler Soderstrom, J.P. Sears, their relief pitcher Mason Miller, and Tyler Ferguson. Mason Miller, again, another guy who is one of the more dominating closers in the game, especially nowadays. So I definitely could see Mason Miller be a reliever for the AL West. Either a reliever, or they may name him as the closing pitcher, because Mason Miller has his better times when his better numbers when he closes games rather than when he has to hold the game. With the Astros, there was a couple of guys I was looking at. Jeremy Pena, he's still as dominant as ever. I had to close my eyes and not want to think about this guy, but Jose Altuve. Tuve, even though he is older, he is definitely performing very well for the Astros. So, and I mean, with Jose Altuve, it's almost fully guaranteed he makes it every year. So, it's kind of what I saw. I as well put down Hunter Brown and Josh Hader to keep an eye on, because those guys, both of them respectively, are having great seasons. So, if anything could happen with the Astros. So, brings me over to the Rangers. Wyatt Langford is definitely performing very well. Definitely would be my choice as far as a all-star option. Tyler Mahle, he's performing very well as well as Chris Martin. Everyone's really on the Rangers. Apart from those guys, are not performing well. But these three guys in particular, with their personal numbers, are performing very well. And then, of course, when I was looking at each of the teams in last, except for the Orioles, of course, I really only was able to find one player as far as who to look into. And my correction, for the Rockies, I had two, and for the Pirates, I had a few. But with the Angels, I had it down just as one player because, again, Trout has not been performing that well, so I could not justify putting Trout down as one of the. I could not put Trout down as a guy to look at here. Now, if he turns things around, he starts performing very well. Could change my opinion. If I see him start batting closer towards 250, give or take, and with a couple more home runs, he can definitely change my mind. So that brings us over to the NL. Right now, the NL East again, Mets have a couple guys listed down, four in particular. One of them was Pete Alonso. Polar Bear is still having his dominant season, like always. Not a surprise. Jose Azokar, he's as well having had a great month here so far. Clay Holmes is still, Clay Holmes is a very dominant pitcher, and as well Reed Garrett. Those guys definitely are ones to keep an eye on here, leading up to the All-Star break when that comes. With the Phillies, I had a couple guys as well. Trey Turner, he's still as dominant as ever. Mr. Schwarby, Kyle Schwarber. Jesus Luzardo, he's actually performing very well as well. And Jose Alvarado. So, a couple guys to keep an eye on here. And hopefully they'll be able to keep up with their dominant play as well. With the Braves, I had a couple guys as well. Austin Riley, he's performing very well for the Braves despite the lackluster performance team-wide. Sean Murphy's having a great game as well, especially that inside the Parker he had against the A's, which still funny to this day. Marcell Ozuna, he's still performing and dominating as well as he can. And as well, Daysbel Hernandez, I hadn't ever heard of, but he's actually performing a lot better than I thought he would. So definitely four guys to keep an eye on here for the Braves option here for the All-Star break. Now with the Nationals, I had two. Nationals are a very young team, so it was hard to determine. But I had it down with Keibert Ruiz. He's still playing very well. His numbers definitely do match what he's doing right now. And their rookie, James Wood. James Wood is definitely having a very dominant performance here this year. And yeah, I mean, there's nothing more to really say. James Wood's one of the more dominating players on that entire Nationals team. So, is it going to be an instance where he's going to drag him kicking and screaming in the playoffs? Heck no. Unfortunately, that team just all around is not good enough to be able to get dragged into the playoffs this year. Now, for the Marlins, again, bad team, hard to make a decision. Only one I really was able to make an argument over was Kyle Stowers. Hopefully, he can keep his numbers up and keep me impressed with him. Brings us to the NL Central. Cubs had four guys listed down here for the Cubs. Seiya Suzuki, still one of the more dominating players on their entire team. Cal Tucker, he's turned around and ensured that he's one of the more dominating hitters on that team. And Mr. Hap Daddy Ian Happ, he's playing very well as well. And Shota Imanaga, he's playing very well as well. So four guys you can keep an eye on there. As far as that, they may come down to the wire as far as who they decide is their all-star player. And you could see a couple of Cubs going to the all-star break too. So anything can happen. Now with the Reds, again, couple guys, four in total that I've been keeping an eye on. And we'll definitely keep an eye on leading up to the all-star break. Gavin Lux. Austin Hayes, and of course, as everybody knows, Ellie De La Cruz. Got to keep an eye on him, the franchise player with the Reds, and then Tony Santillan. So that's who I'm keeping an eye on here as far as the Reds. As far as the Brewers, I have down Bryce Turang, Jason Churio, Sal Frelick, Jose Quintana, and Abner Uribe. So a couple guys there. Who knows? Again, I'm not going to really get into that and be like, oh, it's going to be him. No, it's too early in the season to determine, and too close. Well, not too close, but yeah. I mean, it's just too close of a race to really argue. Now going to the Cardinals, I really surprisingly only had one guy down that could make it there. Brendan Donovan. He's still having a dominant year himself. So unfortunately, he's the only real one that is performing very well. So we'll have to see what happens. Brings us to the Pirates. So like mentioned, again, a couple guys I had an eye on here. First off, O'Neal Cruz, still one of the more dominating bats on that team. I can see O'Neal Cruz definitely making it there. And of course, like mentioned, there's young star Paul. Skeens. Paul Skeens. I mean, he's a young player. He is a young star. I honestly see Paul Skeens, and I'm going to get laughed at in the comments on YouTube, and definitely going to get laughed at in chat if people are watching right now. I see Paul Skeens like Brandon Webb from the Diamondbacks a couple years back after he got into the 2008 All-Star break. He wound up going off and having, I want to say, a 16 ERA from like the first 3 games of his following season. So it very well could be what happens with Paul Skeens unless he can perform better. If he performs better, I will take back all of my comments, talking trash, and I will definitely apologize to Paul Skeens. Andrew Heaney is another guy I was looking into. Chase Shugart and Dennis Santana. So a couple guys I've been looking into for the Pirates. So yeah, could happen. And then that brings us into the most dominating division. Each and every one of them I have multiple people for. Surprisingly, including with the Rockets. Rockies, not Rockets, Rockies. So for the Dodgers, Teoscar Hernandez, definitely still one of the more dominating hitters on that team right now. Shohei Ohtani, he's going to make it as both. He's going to make it as a two-way player, batter, pitcher. It'll happen. He's the biggest name in baseball, so of course it's going to be Shohei Ohtani. Freddie Freeman, I can see him getting one more before he decides to hang him up. And the biggest surprise to me, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Yamamoto, beginning of the season, everybody was like, "Oh, he's scared. He's scared. He's not going to be able to perform all that well for the Dodgers." Yoshinobu surprised the hell out of me. Honestly, one of the more concerning starts, if I'm not mistaken, with him. Hold on, let me pull up his numbers. Yoshinobu Yamamoto statistics. So I mean, right now he currently holds a 4-2 record. Guy is leading the league in ERA right now with a .9 ERA. That gives Shohei Ohtani a run for his numbers. Yamamoto currently is 7th in rankings for strikeouts, and his WHIP is currently 10th at .93. So I I really can't say much other than I believe Yamamoto is definitely going to be another guy we keep an eye on here as far as future players who could, who could make a run, make a huge run. As far as the games here, if I'm not mistaken, the ones that he actually played in, see here. I'm going to figure out what the last few games Yamamoto played in. Trying to remember what the last few games he played in was. Wish it tells you that on ESPN, but it doesn't. Yeah, for some reason it's not showing me. I don't know why in the world it's not showing me the last games he's played. But anywho, Yamamoto is definitely one of the more dominating pitchers in the league right now. For those of you who are still going out and saying that it's Paul Skeens, suck it. So moving on, Padres had a couple guys listed down here. Tatis, he's still dominant as ever. Luis Ariz, he's still playing phenomenal, phenomenal for the Padres. Nick Pivetta, he's performing very well as well. Michael King, Robert Suarez, and Jason Adam. Couple guys that are dominating for the Padres and will continue to dominate this season. For the Giants, couple guys, Young Hoo Lee, Mike Yastrzemski, Robbie Ray, Logan Webb, Camilo Doval, and Tyler Rogers. For the Diamondbacks, I have a list. For the Diamondbacks. Of course, Diamondbacks fans, so of course I'm going to be biased. Josh Naylor, he's performing very well for us. Coming in and becoming that concrete first baseman that we needed after losing Walker in the offseason. Corbin Carroll, rebounding from his rough year last year, is the leader on our team currently. Eugenio Suarez, a great addition to this team after he left the Reds. Ketel Marte still dominant as ever on this team. And of course, I have to give my flowers to the best pitcher on this team for the Diamondbacks. And I'm going to get a lot of arguments in the chat here on Twitch and as well on comments on YouTube. Most dominating pitcher, Brandon Pfaadt on this team. Brandon Pfaadt's going to be he's going to be an all-star player this year without a doubt in my mind. Just there's no real argument when it comes to, again, when it comes to just the dominance of Brandon Pfaadt this year. So I honestly see it being Brandon Pfaadt being able to make it to the all-star break, making it to the all-star break. Currently, Pfaadt's holding a 5-1 record with a 2.78 ERA, 29 strikeouts with a 1.12 WHIP. So, honestly, he's one of the more dominating pitchers on this team, and he will continue to be one of the more dominating pitchers on this team. And of course, Shelby Miller as well was another guy I had listed down here for the Diamondbacks. Another rotation piece that is actually, a very good rotation piece for us. And that brings us into the Rockies. Again, I know I said I have a couple people. I only have two. Couple guys I looked at as far as their numbers. Hunter Goodman, he's performing very well for the Rockies, even though they are currently slumping. And Zachary Agnos. So those are a couple guys I wanted to keep an eye on here as far as the AL race. And that finally brings us to the last segment here on the show. The top prospects who could make their MLB debut this season. Now, I know we're only 1 month in, but I love to look at the farm systems, love to look at the young players and say, all right, this guy, love to say this guy deserves to have his shot in the MLB this year. Starting off, number one prospect in all of MLB, Roman Anthony for the Red Sox. Currently, he's batting 292 on average, with a 417 on base percentage, with a slugging of .521. And with the combined slugging and on base percentages, he has a .938, and currently has 5 home runs on the season in his time in AAA. As far as other AAA players, I'm just going to go over all the AAAs first and then move on to AA. Another dominating AAA player, Bubba Chandler, pitcher for the Pirates. He's currently 2-0 with a 1.42 ERA, with 25.1 innings pitched and 36 strikeouts. He definitely could be a guy that could be plugged into the Pirates rotation, especially understanding how rough their rotation is right now. With the next guy I had down here as well, that could make their debut this year, Dalton Rushing, catcher with the Dodgers. Currently batting with a .313 average, with a .418 on base percentage, with a .5 slugging, OBS of .918. So definitely could be a guy to look into with the Dodgers getting a shot here. With the Dodgers, more than anything, what I've noticed with them, they wait until late in the season to give the guys their shot. So I see Dalton Rushing, I want to say the last month of the year, he gets brought up. Other than Rushing, had as well Cade Horton, pitcher with the Cubs, could be a guy that can be looked into as far as getting in the rotation for the Cubs this season. Currently with a 2-1 record, with a 1.17 ERA and 23 innings pitched. So Caden Horton could be a guy to look into here as far as more depth at that position. Justin Crawford, the outfielder with the Phillies, is definitely having his fun out there in the AAA. Current batting average of .302, on base percentage of .374, .397 slugging average, with a .771 OPS. So another guy to look in, I was looking into as well, to make their debut sometime this season. Moises Ballesteros. I believe that's how it's pronounced. I apologize if I mispronounced it. But he's a catcher over with the Cubbies. Current batting average of .390. And a on base percentage right now of .444. Currently slugging with a .590, with a 1.034 OPS. So definitely one of the better ones and one of the better players to look at here as far as the catcher position with the Cubbies there. So I can see Moises making similar to what the Dodgers are going to do with Rushing. Moises is going to get an opportunity later on in the season here to make his debut. Another prospect for the Dodgers, Alex Freeland, shortstop. It could happen if Cattell goes down with if who is your current shortstop? I think it's Mookie, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. But whoever their shortstop is, they go down with an injury. Easily plug Alex Freeland in, or even just look at putting him as a designated hitter too. Right now with Freeland's numbers, he has a .314 average, .389 on base percentage, .488 slugging percentage, and a .877 on OPS. So, great guy to look into as far as the Dodgers in case they need that shortstop later on in the season. Jacob Misiorowski, pitcher for the Brewers, definitely could be a guy to look into. Currently with a 1-0 record, with a 1.82 ERA, 29.2 innings pitched, and 38 strikeouts on his time in his time in AAA. Do you want to give one guy a shout out? He wound up getting elevated to AAA from AA. Jefferson Kiro, soon to be making his AAA debut. I definitely hope it's a dominating game for him whenever he makes his debut in the AAA. Final one to look at here in the final point of this video, AA. Couple guys in AA that are having phenomenal seasons, definitely averaging higher on their with their numbers overall. Right now with the Royals, Jack Caglianone, first baseman for them, in AA. He's currently averaging a .306 average with a .388 on base percentage, with a .49 slugging percentage at a .878 OPS. So definitely got to look into with the Royals. He could make that move up to AAA later on this season. And heck, I mean, if they need a first baseman down the stretch, they could easily bring him up from AA all the way up to the majors here just to get his feet wet. Another guy in AA that's having a very, very phenomenal year, J.J. Weatherholt, shortstop with the Cardinals, with a .316 average, .412 on base percentage, .439 slugging with a .51 OPS. Cardinals definitely need as much help as they can get, understanding that they are currently they are in 4th place in the NL Central. So just another guy to look into with the Cardinals as far as another option later on in the season. And that brings us over to the next AA guy, Bryce Eldridge, first baseman with the Giants. Giants, of course, one of the more dominating teams in the season, more dominating players in the season overall. Right now he's averaging a .3, so even 300, so .300 when it comes to the batting average, .382 on base percentage, and even 500 when it comes to his slugging with a .882 OPS. Brings us to the next guy, Jet Williams, shortstop and outfielder for the Mets. Currently, Mr. Williams is averaging a .303 average, .361 on base percentage, .526 slugging, and .887 OPS. The final guy I looked into was Edwin Arroyo, shortstop of the Reds. .340 average, .421 on base percentage, and even .400 with slugging, with a .821 on OPS. So all those AA guys are either guys that will be making it to the AA this year, or making it up from AA to AAA, or they very well could be guys that could be making their MLB debut later on in the season. So that, everyone, brings us to the end. I want to thank everybody who came out, took a look. And, of course, I hope everybody enjoyed the content overall. If you do enjoy the content, whether it be here on Twitch or over on YouTube, I would absolutely appreciate any likes, subscribes, follows on Twitch. And yeah, any comment, definitely leave comments so we can go ahead and get some other suggestions as far as other topics to go over in future shows. So, want to thank everybody for coming out. And that brings us to the end.